Reflecting on seeing Barbershop The Next Cut in a movie theater in 2016 with my grandma. Today is Sunday, 10 August 2025, so squeaking in at less than a decade later. And here I, Tanis Coralee of Seattle, reflect on seeing the 2016 film Barbershop The Next Cut in a movie theater in 2016 with my grandma when I was visiting her. Yes, so I would go up every spend a night or two, because I did have work / school, and so I'd visit and home to Washington State, and sometimes I'd see her. And so this was one case where I went up, and it was just her and I, and she asked if I wanted to see a movie, and so I looked up movies, and I was like, there's a Barbershop movie, because I was born approximately in 1993, and so Barbershop and then Barbershop Back in Business came out in the early 2000s, 2000 to 2004 time frame, if I'm recalling correctly. And so then this one came out, and it was this one. So we went and we saw it, and we got there early. I think it was a matinee, but I'm not certain about that. Matinee meaning during the day, and movie theaters may have time cutoffs where it'll be matinee is anything before 4 p.m. or something like that. So I think it was a matinee, but I'm not certain about that. So it's evaluated on start time of the showing. And I think we were the first 2 people in the theater. Don't quote me on that though. And I don't think I really looked around to see kind of who else came in. But it was a fun one to see with my grandma. She was a good spirit about it, and so that was fun. And one of the ones, so there's Barbershop and Barbershop Back in Business, and this Barbershop one came out, Barbershop The Next Cut, 2016, and this is a plot line / inclusion notice. In the movie, they include social media, and so this is 2016, and the previous 2 Barbershops came out before social media existed, before YouTube existed, before Facebook existed, before Twitter existed, before Instagram existed. So, and it was so I was watching the movie, and they bring it up, and there's some big deal, posts on social media and brings in business, kind of thing. And I was just and it was how am I going to remember when this came out? And I was just thinking about it, and I was like, well, the last Barbershop movie that had Eve in it came out before social media existed. So, it's the one that came out after social media existed. So it was kind of a really in viewing it yeah, right, those founding dates can actually be a way of gauging of which one am I watching, right? So I thought that was pretty great. And then there's so if you haven't seen it, it's the cast is not dominantly European American, okay, okay, and so, and I was we were watching it, and I remember being in there and being and for some people this is random, but I was just why do I feel like I'm gonna end up with some guy of African ancestry who's gonna be a mix, and he's gonna have this really British name. We're not just British, it's gonna be super proper. And my grandma's just gonna be oh my gosh, you should take his name. So my Lewis Hamilton. And it was and so I was just in there. 2 Lakota women in a theater, and I was thinking through the mixed hypothesis of me have already lost my virginity. Overall category, it will have been when I was sleepwalking. And so then there's still the waking mode one, and the first one is I'm first. So, and that's a strawberry blondie of Hungarian ancestry who's got strawberry in his strawberry blonde hair because his ancestors ate puffin feet. His name's Attila Szalai, my Attila Szalai. And it came up in mind, so he, in 2024, I think if I'm recalling correctly, I highlighted later, but in 2024 they put out the Hungarian national football team put out a video / Hungarian sports press of him getting a haircut at a barbershop. And so this is what was that trying to say? In my life story, I understand this movie as a handing off from my Attila Szalai to my Lewis Hamilton of the 1-1 honor in a subcategory, not overall category, because my Attila Szalai got that. But to my Lewis Hamilton, who is of African ancestry and has a very proper British surname, last name Hamilton. So it's two Lakota women. I'm like, that's a ode to Lakota women. It was like my grandma Connie was who I was with, and I was just like, that's a. It came to mind because I was with her, and you know, so how things have played out that way in my Attila's lie. It's like, it's Lewis Hamilton. You may have to challenge for it, but that's my pick. So there we go. I was like, if you didn't know, I was like, in putting this back together, I was like, oh yeah, there's little pieces, and then there was amnesia in there, a head injury in there, so, but somehow before and after, I'm getting those memories back, and I can put together the coherent plot line. And seeing Barbershop, the next cut in a movie theater in 2016 with my Grandma Connie, actually was part of that story. Is, and was because it happened, but is. So there we go. So that's reflecting on seeing Barbershop, the next cut in a movie theater in 2016 with my grandma.